Althea lives by herself, does everything for herself. And if we mess too much with the height of her chair, that could screw up bathroom and everything else, because obviously she's at the height she's at for a reason. So, you know, if we can go up at all, anything is gonna help us, but we have to not have that at the expense of everything else in your life. So, yeah, we had that discussion when she was here last. We tried to think through a whole lot of things that day, but, as I say, I couldn't really do much about the driving other than figure out that she was not gonna be able to do a standard size wheel and didn't have the strength to do mechanical controls, but that's as far as we could get that day. So, you wanna tell us when you've got things pulled out, or what do you wanna do?
Well, you know, I mean, I would try. Let's check the steering first,
Right,
and then we'll pull her out. If it works, fine. You know,
Okay.
if it doesn't, you know, we'll pull her out and
Okay.
I'll put all the rest of the stuff in. But let's get that out of the way. You know,
Cause
the
we
van is
have
right
a
now
wheel
set up.
about this big.
Okay.
And so if you can steer that, that's a whole lot cheaper than if we have to go to electronic steering.
Okay.
But,
So you know that's already on there to let you try. So let's get that out of the way, the steering part, and then we'll see what other equipment you need, and we'll know, you know, what the next steps take.
Okay, that works for me.
All right, let's get you on out there, Lynn.
You ain't gonna record that much. I'm doing my drugs evaluation. Are you ready?
Sorry, camera.
Hello.
Thank you.
Let me get the seat out first.
Okay. Tammy, before her race.
All right. Need the back end.
Okay.
Let me know if her feet clear, please.
Oh yeah, it is.
You clear? All right. Let's place you. Let me get out of the way. Exactly where I'm standing. How to be what we think of steering right or left? Left? Oh, right, okay.
Right.
All right. So that should be, yeah, if you can come, you know, almost rub against this armrest if you want. Yeah, just like that. Keep going.
Going forward or
Forward, yeah. Forward. Yeah. I need to get you. All right, let me get out of this. Sorry. Forward just a little bit. Okay. All right.
Well, if this is the case, then I'll be using my right hand. If I was further back, I would use Sorry, I'm using my left hand because I was close up if I was further back.
Well, you know, the real problem is you're leaning back. Because, I mean, right now, I'm trying to figure out because I can bring this, I'm going to bring this down a little bit. You know, but I need you to be able to see. Can you see out? You're still too low, so that's, hang on, let me raise you first.
Okay.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Yeah, that's good. So, let me grab something for you to steer with.
Okay.
Or would you be able to grip something like an egg? It will look like an egg, pretty much. Do you think you'll be able to grip it? Because otherwise I'll put you in a tri-pin.
I think the tri-pin will work better.
Okay. Yeah, because you would have to, you know, hold it like this, and if you can't do that,
Okay.
it's a tri-pin.
Okay.
Now, let me see because we're going to do right hand, aren't we?
No, actually, with me being up this close, we're going to do with the left.
Left hand,
If
okay.
I was further back, it would have been the right.
Okay, all right. Well, I can get you, you know, you can move back. Which one is stronger?
I think let's try the left.
Left?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, because you know, you can move back a little bit. But, you know, it's kind of a little geometry quiz here because if I get you too high, well, you know, you may not be able to reach the wheel. If I get you too low, then, you know, same thing. If it's kind of like we need to
Play around with.
yeah, just play around and see what works best. But, you know, I want to get you in the best possible position to see if you can steer this, because right now, you know, we have a reduced diameter wheel, but we also have a 4-inch extension here.
Okay.
That may, you know, can vary. It doesn't have to be 4 inches, and you know, it could be 2. Depends on the van. But if I sit you too far back, now you're not going to be able to see anything out of this column. You know, when you're checking for traffic, you need to be able to look through the glass. But if you're only looking at this, then
Gotcha.
you know, you're not going to be able to clear traffic, for example. So that's the different variations that we want to try. But let me get the tri-pin then.
Okay. Hey, you want to take a ride? Come on, jump in. Oh, this is so neat.
So what's the story so far?
So far, he's going to go one of the little hand grips.
Okay.
I mean, to put on there and
All right.
work from there.
See, much tinier.
Yes.
So, possibility. And that would be a lot less money than having to go to electronic steering if we can do it.
And I can see the ground.
Of course, you're in a big old van. But,
I know.
That's okay. Well, this is what you'd learn in. Yeah. Go forward with all this. As you see, we can play with our floor, so we can put you at the height we need you at.
Did you have a hand in mind that you wanted to use, or?
No, yeah, I don't think that'll work.
Yeah. Too big, too bulky.
Yep. That might. Do we have a single post?
Yeah.
That would be my other.
All right. Tell you what, back up your chair.
Okay.
And give yourself a little distance, you know, about this much. All right, that's good. Okay, so let's try to grab this thing. Can your hand slide in there? I can make it wider.
That's good.
All right, all the way down. Okay. Now go ahead and move that around. All the way. Other side. Okay. All right. Other way. Just keep going back and
Okay.
forth. Yeah. And just, you know, tell me, is it something that you think you may be able to do?
How does your arm feel? How does your wrist feel?
I feel pretty good actually with this.
All right.
I think the steering wheel may have to go
A little higher,
further towards
Yeah,
that
not
way.
as close to you.
Yes.
So you're saying that the wheel needs to be further away from you?
Yes.
All right, why don't you back up a little bit?
Okay.
Okay, that's it. No, don't, let me help you because once this thing comes, all right, that's it. Try that. All right, but
Okay.
hang on, but put your hand all the way in.
Oh.
You don't want it to be halfway in. Go ahead. All right, hang on. Let's make this a little bigger for you.
Okay, that's better.
That does look better.
How about a little lower, the wheel?
You can try it a little more.
All right, that's one notch. That may be too much.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
And you tell us how things feel, cause
It actually is pretty good.
okay.
All right, go ahead.
Oh.
Just giving you a little resistance
Oh,
there.
okay.
All right, other way. Okay. That's not bad. No, obviously, we're just trying to figure out if you can steer this thing and it be, a logical thing to even consider, and apparently it is. All right, so let's see here. While you have this, leave this hand here,
Okay.
and let me see what. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is place. There's a device. It's called an electronic gas and brake, or it's got all kinds of names, but it's nothing less than a lever that I can place right here,
Okay.
so you can either push for gas, pull for brake, or vice versa, whichever we find to work best.
Okay.
Now you need to have just slight movement. The whole range of movement, it's gonna be this much. So, if,
Let me look at how her arm moves so I can.
all right, pull back. Yeah, forward. Yeah. See that? I think we can put the
Yeah, I just didn't
L
have
right here.
Yeah, I just didn't have the range with a mechanical control.
Yeah.
Strength isn't bad; it's range.
Right. The range is not there. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So stay right there.
Okay.
Are you cool? Do you need some more hair?
I'm good.
Yeah.
You got plenty of hair.
All right. Let's leave you there for a little time.
Okay.
All right, so
Okay. Go ahead and try that. And I'm just looking for a position that I can put this that it's comfortable. And you tell me if that's it right there. I'll put it right there.
It's a good position, but this needs to be turned.
Other way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can do that. It'll be all the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
The system uses two computers. One controls the steering, one controls the gas and brake.
Okay.
And in this case, we're not using the steering computer, so it's telling me, hey, something's up here and I don't like it. That was that continuous beep that you heard before.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this system alerts you of any problems.
Okay.
It's by beeping.
But the answer is
Very
we want to
un-
use the steering computer because we're not using the steering that can go along with this gas and brake. We're using that.
And very annoying beeping.
Yeah.
Not just that beep, it will drive you nuts. And it's on purpose. So you pay attention. All right.
I changed the position a little bit.
Yeah.
Down.
Okay. Well, technically we're ready to go. All right. Well, let's tie you down.
Okay. We also need to get your seatbelt on.
I'm nervous.
Nervous?
I can't believe I'm about to try. Hold tight.
You can smile.
All right. See you later.
All right.
important part. This is one you want to get on camera.
No, don't. You're bringing. Hey. Who you got in there? Oh, hey there.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Do good.
I'll try.
We'll come back and get you for the spin.
Okay. Never got a folder, so I couldn't tell you.
No blood, no foul. She did great.
Good.
She'll be just fine. You want to see how she drives, you know, the equipment. She needs training, but she went there.
I did it, and I have all my limbs.
The van looks the same as when we left.
Exactly, I hit nothing. Oh, but I'm nervous as all get out. I'm so sweaty.
Don't worry where yet. We got
Okay.
unhook it to do.
Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun. Totally different.
Returning conqueror. Then your hair totally different than the last time I saw you.
Yeah, my niece tightened it up.
You had it long, huh?
Mm-hmm. No accidents. Okay, I'm back for my first driving lesson or evaluation portion of it. I think I did pretty good. I didn't hit anything. I'm back in one piece. I'm a little nervous. I'm still a little tensed up, so I'm quite sure I'm going to be kind of sore tonight. But other than that, it was good. I enjoyed the whole experience of driving.
You mostly stayed on your side of the road.
Yes, that was my issue. Trying to keep it straight and not crossing the double lines. And let's see, what was the other? That was that, and
Keeping your turns from being too wide.
too wide, yeah. So if I can get those, I think I may be okay until we get on the interstate.
On the interstate, you don't have to make any turns.
Well, that's true. But I think it's the whole fact of having all those other cars on the road with me.
Yeah.
Yes. So. But I think I'll be okay. With a little more practice, I think I'll be fine. You weren't nervous riding with me, were you?
I mean, keep in mind I do this all the time. So
Oh, okay.
we go out with people all the time that have never been behind the wheel. So
Well, that was me today.
That was you. that was you.
How do you feel?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good, yes.
Any pain?
No. Everything is good.
Well, you know, obviously this is your first ever true encounter with driving. You know, we kept in a protected area. You know, no major speeds or anything. You know, I did most of the checking for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I mean, again, the general idea was, is this equipment that you may be able to function with and handle it? And it definitely appears that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's more adjustments I would make. I'm not crazy about you grabbing that pin right at the end, because the easy, you know, it makes it so much easier for your hand to slip out. So you know, maybe I would look to for some kind of cuff or something that, you know, that, I mean, custom made to secure the hand in there. Because you know, if this is the pin, I don't know if you saw it, she's grabbing right here. If she was any deeper on it, then she couldn't turn.
Okay.
She was right at the edge. Maybe get
Or
you a
does
little
it
closer.
just need to be a longer pin?
Maybe, yeah, maybe get her a little closer and just make that pin even shorter. Because the thing is, you don't want that pin in your chest either, you know, because
Right.
it's rubbing on you. Well, also, it's not a good idea to have that pin anywhere near you. I mean, we want you as far from it as possible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those are some adjustments that can be made. I wouldn't make most of, you know, I make the essential ones. I wouldn't make most of them or commit too much time and money until you go through this whole process and get licensed.
Okay.
Because then, oh, now we're serious. Now, you know, we know that you can get a license, well, you have a license, so now it's just a matter of really making something custom built for you.
Okay.
So, you know, I talked about some of this the other day when you were here, but generally the way the process goes from here, you know, here's where you start making decisions in
Okay.
terms of financial commitment.
Mhm.
Because the first step, you know, whether you had a funding source or it's your own money, the logical thing is I need to see if I can get to the point where I can get my driver's license. Because as
Okay.
we say, day one, I wouldn't care if you could use every limb correctly. We still wouldn't necessarily have expected you to do everything.
Mhm.
Because if you're somebody that's never been behind the wheel, you're not probably going to always remember the turn signal. You're not going to always remember to check or know for sure what you're looking at when you do, and so forth, when you're brand new at this. But, you know, obviously, before between now and the time you would get a license, you have to do 100% of everything independently.
Mhm.
You know, we have to put all the secondary controls that Marino today did for you within reach so that you can operate them.
Okay.
We have to have you seated where you can see well enough that you can check your traffic and check everything. We have to decide, are there any special things we're gonna have to do? I met a guy the other day that, he wasn't a client of mine, but he was over at another shop and they showed me they'd set up. He had not only a backup camera, but he also had cameras on either side that he could toggle to
Mhm.
so that it helped him see for lane changes to the sides of his van
Okay.
and to see what was over there. So sometimes we can go as far as to do things like that if needed.
Okay.
You know, if we have trouble with some of your visibility, because it's, you know, you're not going to be able to turn and look over your shoulder.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just physiologically not possible.
Mhm.
You know, so we have to, you know, look at various ways to compensate for these different things so that you're safe,
Okay.
obviously. You know, as Marina was saying with the fiddling and the tweaking, we generally do that over the course of training because as you start getting an understanding, you know, just like today, we were giving you a lot of information as we went along.
Mhm.
But we were still at the point of just trying to keep the vehicle where we wanted.
Mhm.
Wasn't too much about, you know, we had a little conversation about right of way, things like that. Not a long one,
Mhm.
because we didn't put you in too many situations where there were a whole lot of decisions to be made,
Mhm.
intentionally.
At first. Mhm.
But obviously, you gotta.
Come in.
Yeah, you're welcome to come. You have a seat. You know, you're gonna have to make sense of that. And, I mean, you've got maturity on your side, you know, and intelligence, which is good. You know, it's not like our, 18-year-olds. So that's a big plus. I expect you to catch on quickly, but you still gotta catch on to all that stuff. And then, obviously, there's the execution of everything.
Mhm.
What I'm putting down here, and I didn't give you a whole report yet because we needed to get through today, but we've gotten people licensed in as little as 20 hours. Sometimes it takes 40 hours. It just depends. Happily, most of the equipment you're not using is terribly complex. What's going to be equipment-wise the bigger challenge is just getting everything just right for you.
Mhm.
Now, I know you work full-time. What are your options as far as availability for training? Just jumping on the assumption that we're gonna, barrel through and do training when you're ready.
Well, I work from 7 to 4, and that's Monday to Friday.
Okay.
I have the weekends off.
Now, do you have any, time off that you could take? Obviously with planning.
Yeah, I think so, but, 'cause I took the day off
Mhm.
for this, so.
Right.
I'm not sure about how much more time I'll have, like within this month or next month or so.
Okay.
So, but I can.
So is yours like earned as you go along?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I mean, an ideal situation, and things don't always work out ideal. Ideal situation that we do with folks is we do like a week where we see them for a big portion of each day for the week, so that one, you're doing everything consistently and you're not forgetting from week to week, or, you know, a couple of weeks to couple of weeks or something like that. Also, we can leave everything set exactly the way you need it, where if we're seeing you this week and then not for a few weeks, and we have someone in between who needs that van, then we gotta undo everything, and then we gotta put it all back.
Okay.
And just like today, you have to spend however much time it took then, out of your time, to get everything exactly where you needed it, all over again, you know, and then undo it again if you're not gonna do it for several weeks. So, I mean, ideally, the more condensed the time can be, the better.
Okay.
What time do you go into work
7.
and get out?
4.
You see that, we could leave a couple hours in the afternoon. Like, we could do something like, you know, we could drive, let's, you know, start on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then use Saturday, Sunday,
Mhm.
you know, and hopefully take the test that following Tuesday, because Mondays they're closed. 5 classes every day for 5 days continuous, they get licensed, they're gone, they're finished. You got your license in hand, and now it's, you know, it's up to you to, which direction you wanna move on.
Mhm.
So it's, you know, we'll try to make it work. If you're, you know, I know it's gonna be a long day for you, you know, if you're getting up, you know, work at 7 and work all the way through. But, you know, I mean, the options are there, and, you know, it's up to you to
And I
really
mean,
just see.
a good thing, you know, if you're ready to do this, obviously we have the fact that it's summer as an advantage, it's still light.
Mhm.
You know, we're not at the time of year where at 5 o'clock it's starting to get dark,
Mhm.
and suddenly you're trying to learn in the dark, cause that's a whole nother story.
Right.
Looks like there's no reason you shouldn't be able to be a driver. Obviously, we gotta tweak around exactly what's gonna be the best vehicle for you.
Okay.
But equipment wise, stuff's there for you to use.
All right. Sounds good.
Did she scare you?
No, actually, I think she's scared herself. No, she did fine. I mean, you know, considering never driven before, and, you know, there's a lot of things that you and I just,
Take for granted.
yeah, that we think, you know, of course, this is what you should do, because that's just the way it is, you know, like recovering from a turn, you don't realize that you turn the wheel, here, you know, here goes the vehicle to one side, well, you gotta turn the wheel back, or you're gonna continue turning. Well, those are things that she doesn't know.
Right, okay.
And just the coordination itself, I think that's really what you
How
struggle the
fast
most.
you're going as you turn
You
also
know.
dictates how fast you gotta turn the wheel.
Right,
Right.
So
and
you
you
get a
know,
little too much gas, you gotta turn the wheel a whole lot.
and then recovering from the turns, you know, those are the things that,
We
obviously
take for
with a little,
granted, but you
right,
gotta take time to learn.
yeah, because, you know, these, I call them the dynamics of driving, you know, now you're having to, not look so much as where are the wheels, as much as, is it going where I want it to go? And am I going fast enough, or am I going too slow? And, you know, and those two things kind of have to work together, and it takes a little coordination, and that's where she's, you know, is lacking, but it's because she's never done it. You know, it's like, we're teaching her to skate, ride a bicycle, swim, and fly all in one shot. You know, I mean, this is all boom right there, because all those movements, all those dynamics, we learn with all these things that we've done when we were kids.
Right.
Now we're throwing all of that on her, you know, in 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So that's really, but you know, there's what we look for is it is she able to get any of that coordination? And, you know, I mean, immediately I started pointing things out to her. You know, she had a few turns that were good. She had, most of them weren't, but, you know, those good ones. All right, well, look at this, you know, right there, you know, it's coming up. So it's you know, it's a challenge. It's more of a
A learning challenge.
learning challenge, and then now you're dealing with the fear, the nervousness of like, oh my God, I'm in a you know, 2-ton monster here that I'm, you know, if I hit something, I'm gonna destroy it. You know, I mean, all these things are coming into play, and she's nervous, of course. She's tense. But you know, it's just it takes time, and then you know, now she starts to relax. Like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this, you know. And I assure you, next time you get in that van, that's what it's gonna feel like. Like, yeah, I can do this. You're gonna whip that wheel around and just make those corners with no problem, because that's how it evolves. I mean, I see it time and time again. People get the first time, they're so tense and so nervous. Oh my God, you know, they get in there and they just barely move the van around, and then the next time, you know, it's almost like, well, what was that all about? You know, I can really do this, and then it just progresses from there.
We'll just take a Dave and Buster's and throw them in those cars.
There you go. That'll work.
That'll be fun. That could be an interesting experience.
Well,
But you have to
you know,
pay for
video
it.
games, believe it or not,
Can be useful.
are help. You know, especially if you have one with a wheel.
Oh, I have one with the wheel. It's a PlayStation when Jamel was there.
Yeah,
I still have the wheel simulation.
absolutely. You know, I mean, they really help. They really help because they give you a little perspective. Like, okay, I need to turn here to stay here. It helps in everything that we did today.
Well, thank you all.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Pleasure meeting you.
Good meeting you as well.
All right. Hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir.
All
We're
right.
good.
Thank you.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Take care.
Okay.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Let me use the restroom if we're out. I'm out here. I don't think I would make it.
Driving big cars, everybody wanna be a movie star.